What's up, everybody? This is Jack from Crypto 49er, bringing you my knowledge in cryptocurrency. Today, I want to talk about how to predict when Bitcoin will start recovering. So, here's the chart of Bitcoin. The reason why I picked Bitcoin is pretty obvious. Almost all altcoins follow Bitcoin, right? It's like when Bitcoin falls, altcoin falls. When Bitcoin goes up, altcoins goes up. So, using Bitcoin is a pretty good representative on cryptocurrency overall. As you can see from this chart here on Bitstamp, most people, I would say the majority of people that use technical analysis use trend lines in addition to all these other indicators from Fibonacci sequences like the Fibonacci retracements to Ichimoku clouds to the simpler RSI and MACD, so on and so forth. I'm not going to show any of that stuff today. Just going to follow the basic trend lines because the basic trend lines is enough to tell you when Bitcoin will recover. So as you can see, most analysts that analyze Bitcoin prices on a daily basis will draw these trend lines to show you, and they draw like a bottom one to show you a channel, and then they'll say, hey, when Bitcoin breaks out like it does here back in April, oh yeah, this is awesome, so this is good time to buy. It's wrong. It's just wrong. Period. Wrong. Okay? This is not what it means. Okay? At least that's my understanding. It's the way that they're telling people, say, oh, when it breaks out, that means it's going to be a bull trend. Yeah, it is a bull trend from April. Let me zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. So from April, was it April 20th when it broke out, all the way to May 6th, I give you. That's the bull trend, if you could call it that. And then before you know it, by May 11th, it's already fell below the price that it started off at. So it's ridiculous to use a single trend line and to judge how Bitcoin will move, because all these little tiny breakouts that they have of these trend lines are simply useless. That's my opinion. So what you're supposed to do is this. So you're supposed to draw another trend line on top of this one, but keeping the old one, because some people, they're just like, well, let me just move this trend line up to match up to the where the current peak is. No, keep the previous trend line so that you would see where it broke out. So this is the previous peak back on March 5th after recovering from the February lows. So then you keep this trend line, and you see that it broke out around April, and you can see this second trend line that's drawn here where the top was here. The idea is very, very simple, okay? All you have to do is wait for it to break out 2 times, break out twice. So after this initial breakout back in April, you needed to break out again. So it needed to break out from this trend line. Once it does that in the daily chart, again, this is a daily chart here of the Bitcoin using Bitstamp. Once it breaks out twice, that's when you can be pretty certain, I would say probably 90 to 95% certain, that Bitcoin has completely broken out from bear trend and it's now on the way back up. So, and when I say breakout, it can't be like, oh, hovering along this line here, this second trend line, and say, oh, this is broken out. No, we're talking about breaking out, like at least, dramatically breaking out. Like this was a good example. The first time when it broke out from this trend line right here, it broke out quite a bit, which is good, but you want to see that and you want to see it again. So it's basically you want to see it break out and then probably hover around here a little bit and then break out more. And then that's when you know for sure that we have recovery. And that's when you know for sure that Bitcoin will be going up to its new all-time highs. Since we haven't seen when it breaks out, you can only really go back to historical data to see how it works the previous time. So this is going back to 2013 when it first crashed back in 2013. So you see it crash and then it crashed way down to here back in late 2013, and then it recovered quite a bit, almost 90% of what was lost, and then it started falling down again. If you follow the same method again, you draw these additional trend lines here, you see that, hey, look at this, you draw a second trend line, you see it broke out. Look at this, it broke out on May 25th roughly. So it broke out from this trend line and then it went all the way up to here. So this way you draw the second trend line and say, okay, let's see if it breaks out again. And this time it looks like it did, right? It's kind of one of those, as I mentioned earlier, it's curling around this trend line, but it never really broke out like it's supposed to. So, and that's why it kept on falling. So when you draw a third trend line all the way down here, this is like from November of 2013 all the way to July of 2017. So this is, yeah, the last time it was down so much, it took that long to recover. But you see it in July of 2015, that's when it began to recover because it actually fell more again. So even though it created this new high, I guess, of 2015, it fell right back down over here. But after that, that's when it completely broken out. So you see that eventually at this point, by October, it took about 3 months again, from July 2015 all the way to October. Well, I mean, that's when it really, this is extending out the trend line, but you can see obviously when it passed through the trend line this time, it actually just stayed and made new all-time highs. So right now, again, currently we are like around here. We have this trend line drawn here, where like on the first trend line, it hasn't created a second trend line where it can break through yet. So this is what's happening. So we needed another one. So it broke through once, we need to break through again. When it happens, that's when you can say we have recovered. But when's that gonna happen? I can only guess. But while I was creating this and while I was coming up with the idea of when will Bitcoin recover, I'm thinking a lot of people talk about this too. Wouldn't it be better to sell now and then buy back and when it's lower? So for example here, so let's say if you bought $100 of BTC back in February at $10,000, you thought, oh hey, we recovered, let's go, this is going to be our ride to $30, $40, $50,000 of Bitcoin price. So you bought at 10,000, you end up getting 0.01 BTC. So now you're employing this crazy strategy because you know from what I just said, Bitcoin has a good chance of falling more before it comes back up because it hasn't broke out yet from the second trend line. So you're employing this crazy strategy. You're gonna sell it at 6,000 or whatever the current price is, right? You sell, and then you're only getting back $60 of your $100. So now you got back your $60 of money of the $100 you actually put in. You only got $60 back, so you lost basically 40% of it. So now, but if it falls down to 5,000 and I buy it with my $60, I will now get 0.012 BTC. So even though I lost 40% from my original sell, I gained 20% more BTC. If you believe Bitcoin will hit $100,000 in 2019 or 2020, I mean, depends on how conservative you are with the Bitcoin prices. A 0.01 BTC will get you back $1,000 when you sell it when Bitcoin is worth $100,000. Or a 0.012 BTC will be worth $1,200. So basically, by doing this now, you're making another $200. You get back another 2 times your investment of your original $100 investment if you sell now and believe that it's going to fall down to 5,000 and buy at 5,000. Hey, I mean, if it falls down to 3,000, you can make even more. You can end up having twice as much. If it actually falls down to $3,000 and you sold at 6,000, you end up with 0.02 BTC. So that means you get $2,000 instead of $1,000 when Bitcoin hits $100,000. That's my belief that it will hit something that high at least sometime down the line. That's, again, my belief. So the thing is, if you believe Bitcoin will go up from here, then obviously you shouldn't sell, as you just lost your chance to profit $940 or 94% using the example above. So this isn't financial advice. Again, I cannot give you guys financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but this is my thoughts and my understanding of the loss aversion principle in the behavioral psychology. In cognitive psychology and decision theory, loss aversion refers to people's tendency to prefer avoiding losses to acquiring equivalent gains. It is better not to lose $5 than to find $5. The principle is very prominent in the domain of economics. So you're gonna have to take a risk. I mean, I'm gonna take a risk. I haven't done it yet, obviously, but this thinking out loud pretty much. But like for anyone that is willing to sell now and buy back in at a lower price, believing that it's a lower price, it's just another way to accumulate BTC. So really, this is the bottom line. Since Bitcoin began its fall in late 2017, it has never crossed over 2 trendline peaks. So again, just to remind you guys, so it hasn't crossed over more than once. So it crossed once, and that's it, it fell back down. There's no way Bitcoin will do this in 2018 unless institutional money invests heavily in Bitcoin. The most likely scenario is the price will flatten out anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 in Q3 of 2018 before crossing two trend lines in 2018 to early 2019. And this is probably still early estimate. I mean, a lot of people think that because the previous crash was Mt. Gox and yada yada, there's so much more Bitcoin that were affected by the hack that, that's why there was the nuclear winter, so to speak, and that's why it lasted so long. And people think that this bear run is not as long. I mean, I have to say they're probably wrong. I mean, even my prediction right now that it's going to come back in late 2018 to early 2019. And when I say come back, it's not really going to come back. It's more like this example right here. It's going to be like this. It's going to start crossing this second line right here. So you haven't come back in price yet. You haven't recovered from 20,000. So this is probably, I mean, right now you can see this was back in 2015. It was like $200, and then there was 1,000 for the high. So this, you still have 70% loss here. So, but then this is when it comes back. So I'm guessing it's gonna be by the end of 2018. It's gonna be like $7,000, $8,000. I mean, that's basically it. I don't really think we're gonna hit 10,000 in 2018. So, but then it should at least cross the two trend lines. At least that's my guess. I could be wrong. It could be later. So whether this is the right time to sell to further accumulate your Bitcoin holding is entirely up to you. Again, not financial advice. That's my video for today, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for post notifications. If it isn't crypto, it isn't worth mining. It isn't worth speculating. Peace out.